Life, culture and current events from a biblical perspective. 2020 with Neil Johnson on Vision.
As you know, Victorian voters are going off to the polls on the 26th of November. Then it'll be New South Wales' turn. Voters heading for their state election on the 25th of March next year. And while Family First has re-emerged, reflecting many of the Christian values that we hold dear, and they're putting forth a showing in Victoria, there is another party in New South Wales that is gathering some momentum. It's called C4C, Christians for Community, with plans to register candidates, and they're recruiting members too this month. They'll be listed on a ballot paper as independents, but advertising and promotional material will be branded C4C. Milton Cain is president of Christians for Community. He's joining us. Milton, welcome along to 2020.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome to you too. Yeah, it's good to be here.
Milton, just heart to heart now about Christians and political parties. There's been some ups and downs. At this point, you don't have the 750 registered members that you are required to have by the Electoral Commission. This would be one of the urgent things you're looking to right now.
Well, yeah, we would have never been able to make that grade because you needed to have them 12 months before an election. And so it's not only the fact you've got to have the 750 who are registered to vote, but you need them 12 months before the election. So our party doesn't have that much history. We're only just begun.
It is new. So that's candidates, right, yes. The way you are expecting to stand candidates in seats for the New South Wales state election, you'll be expecting them to stand as independents, but in some sense here, like a little bit like what we've seen with the Teals in a federal sense, there's a collection of independent candidates, but they are together under a similar sort of banner.
That's right. They will be listed as independents on the ballot paper. But where you go to the New South Wales Electoral Commission and you look for the candidates there will be links to our website. There will be information there which demonstrates that they are a part of a team of Christian candidates.
Okay. Some history here, because you've got history as a Christian in serving in politics. And your connections with the Christian Democratic Party, which went through a dreadful demise. I wonder if you've got some thoughts here on what's happened and what is expecting to be raised out of the issues that happened then.
I think that what I must say is that over time, unfortunately, sometimes we as Christians, we lose sight of the main target, that is God, serving God. And we start looking at ourselves or serving other people. And when we go off onto that area, what we actually do is we lose the connection with God. And when we lose that, we just become like any other organisation. And it's the moral value that comes through an association, a relationship, a personal, direct, dependable relationship with God that actually puts into place the real policies that we need, which will influence the Christian community, but also flow out into the rest of the community to give them a good moral standing to stand upon.
It's a hard road, isn't it, to start a political party from scratch, although it's not quite scratch because there are some remnants of the CDP and there are others who were not part of the CDP, but it is a hard road and you're putting your hand to the plough to get a new party up and going. Is it difficult getting through to people and saying, hey, we're short of time, we need to get things happening?
It's always difficult because, you see, I think one of the problems is a lot of people don't understand politics in Australia. They look around and they don't really understand the different elections, a different way you register, the different thing on how you need to be registered in a particular state to run in those state elections. They don't understand that. They think, oh, we can do this with some other organisation. But unless you are registered in the state, with your 750 for New South Wales, it may be different for other states, who are, you can't actually have your name on the ballot paper. You just stand as independent. And people aren't really understanding that. It's a little bit to do with the fact that, unfortunately, one of the things about being a part of the Christian community, often we take our lead from the minister of the church or whoever else is the leader of the church, and we see the decisions coming through them because we've trusted them. But we need now to get information for ourselves so that we can actually be more informed. Most people don't want to be heavily informed in politics every day. I am, because that's been my life probably for about at least 50 years, I would say, in some form. And just the way I've been. I've always wanted to try and do something to help the underdog. You know, I mean, even when I was in South Africa, I tried to get the right for black people to get the same pay as white people in 79. So, that's me. That's the sort of guy I am.
Has the experience, and I made reference to it, and you might be thinking, you might be cringing by making a reference to the Teals, given your confidence that a band of independents can have real influence, and this is the footing on which you're getting this new party started. It's not going to be a party by the time election time rolls around, but the experience of Christian believers standing as independents and eventually having some strength in numbers. That's the sort of thing you're getting some confidence from?
Well, yeah, that's what we're wanting to do. And a part of that program is to get people to think beyond the standard, right for life and those things, but to actually how Christian politics works in whether we build a road or not, whether we build a hospital or not, whether we actually, and what we ought not to have, what we have at the moment, is huge queues waiting in casualties so that nobody can actually be seen. That's seems to be a common thing right throughout the country, and that is something that there's a Christian input into that. So we fix that up. We have to fix that up.
So a Christian focus on health issues and hospitals that are struggling right now. As you say, there are some typical historical pro-life foundations that you'll have for this new party. And no doubt the candidates who'd stand as independents, you'd be hoping that they will have those sort of pro-life views that you would all hold in common. The strength of
that's for sure.
Strong moral values that are biblically founded. Those are the sorts of things that you'd like to see in candidates putting their hand up to stand for C4C?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, even when we come around to, for example, wages, it's an interesting concept. The Bible talks about a workman is worthy of his hire. And I add, the hire needs to be worthy of the workman. And so you've got both sides of the equation. You need to make sure the hire is worthy of the work and the workman is worthy of his hire. So both sides of the equation are balanced. That's where the moral code comes in, on working relationships, for example.
And you're hoping to stand candidates in all state seats next year for the New South Wales state election?
Well, we would like to have as many as possible. I don't know how many we will have, but we are registering now. The process is we can register candidates now. And once you are registered, that means that candidate can receive donations and that they need to keep a scrutiny on their expenditure, because that becomes under the scrutiny of the Electoral Commission. And I want to make sure that people understand the rights and responsibilities there. As an organisation ourselves, because we are not registered in the way that we have the 750 members, the party itself at this stage cannot receive tax-deductible donations. But candidates that we register can from their point of registration. But they don't actually have to nominate to run in the election until later. But they'll need 25 people to endorse that nomination at that point of time.
Milton, just a heart-to-heart here for a few moments, talking money, because financial backing for candidates is one of those big challenges, isn't it? And then you see various groups that are standing independent candidates and they've got the backing of a billionaire. That is something that we haven't seen around Christian candidates. Is this something you could see as an aspiration for the possibilities for the future, getting a new party underway?
Well, whilst I think that having financial backing is a good thing, one of the things is that we have to be very careful with financial backing from huge enterprises unless that money is coming clean on a moral basis. Then I wouldn't want to see the money. I would prefer to run a very frugal campaign on money that we know is honourable than to actually make a compromise to go and get a whole bunch of dollars so we can actually run a big ad campaign.
All right. So right now you're looking for candidates and for people who will register as members for a new party. And as we said earlier, the party won't be registered by the actual date of the New South Wales state election, but this is the aspiration going forward, and this is the plan that you've got. So for people to connect with you, the website, christiansforcommunity.com.au. When you go to that site, you'll be able to connect and you'll be able to sign up as a member.
That's correct. At this particular point of time, while we do have a board of management in at the moment, we actually haven't put a fee on membership, and membership at this point of time is essentially free until such a time as we actually make a decision on that one. So it's free membership at the moment. That's pretty cheap.
It's pretty cheap. It's free, and there might be listeners who want to check out a little more deeply some of the things that are on the website for christiansforcommunity.com.au, a new political party for New South Wales essentially, and it'll be branded C4C. C4C stands for Christians for Community. The website, christiansforcommunity.com.au. Milton Cain is president for Christians for Community. Milton, look forward to getting an update from you sometime soon, but thanks so much for sharing this thought with us today on 2020.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for taking time to listen to this audio on demand from Vision Christian Media. To find out more about us, go to vision.org.au.